Okay, welcome back to the channel. So I've been kind of doing a lot of work out here. Everything that you saw behind over here, and I'll swing the camera around so you can see, is pretty much gone. I moved a bigger TV out here that I had in the house, another 4K TV. I think this one is 45 inch. The other one I bought was 32 because I took it, mounted on the shelves up here because I really am going to need this bench for when I start tearing apart that Shovelhead. So I did hear Harley vintage or antique archives, whatever you want to call it, on this bike. They're very limited on what they can give you because they just don't do build sheets. They don't do build sheets like cars to let you know. There really wasn't a whole lot of options that came with the bikes anyway. I think the dealers actually did more options than the factory. You could get dealer options, they would install certain things, and of course there's no record of that unless it's on the original sales receipt. So what I got from Harley so far, I gave him the VIN. This is a FLH 1200 in vivid blue. Now whether that blue is actually vivid blue over there, I don't know. I'd have to see a paint chip. But I'm curious to know, because it looks like that's been painted probably within 5 years. Why the owner, if he's going to go to the trouble of repainting it, why they wouldn't have painted the graphics on it. Because I thought about, well, the paint is good on there. Maybe I can just get some kind of water slide decals to go on it. But I'm like, nah, I'm going to have it repainted to the original factory vivid blue with the graphics that are on it. So they did give me a key code of B-310, which doesn't really mean anything because I'm swapping out the ignition anyway. I don't have a key for it. And I'm not really sure. It does have an electrical issue. When you turn it to ignition, the lights are not supposed to be on, and they're on. In fact, when you turn it to lights, the motor dies out. So there's definitely an issue with the wiring harness on that bike. You can see some of it's wrapped up in electrical tape, and I'll show you some pictures of it. Here's a picture of it wrapped up in electrical tape. The build date was April 26, 1976. And it was shipped to Clarksville, Indiana. Now, I could not find any dealer in Clarksville, Indiana. The closest dealer was in Louisville, Kentucky, which, according to Google, is like 13 miles away. So it must be the lower end of Indiana where this was shipped. Now, you can't really do a Carfax on this. All the Carfax sites want a 17-digit VIN, and this only has, what, 7 or 8? So you can't really do a Carfax on it. Be nice to know how that bike was sold in Indiana and ended up in Massachusetts. What kind of a journey it took. The Springer behind me supposedly was bought. The dealer that I bought it from wasn't a Harley dealer. It was an independent dealer shop, just a regular shop. Supposedly they bought that from an owner in New York, although it was never titled in New York or registered in New York. It actually started its life in Florida. You can do a Carfax on that because it's a 2001. So it started its life in Florida and ended up in Massachusetts. Whether the owner lived in Massachusetts, died, and that relative took the bike and who lived in New York, because it was never titled or registered in New York. So that's why I was thinking from the Springer was probably kept under a carport or something under a tarp. It definitely wasn't garaged. Anyway, back to the shovel. I got a crankcase number of 176-111-012. So I can't check the crankcase number because I believe those numbers, and they should be on each side of the case, are underneath the skid plate. At least that's where they were on the panhead. They were underneath the skid plates. And I'm not going to take the skid plate off now just to check the case numbers. The fork number is AP-410, and I'll show you a picture here that I took off the fork, which is AP-410, so we know that's original to the bike. And transmission is Y-1450. Again, that's underneath the mounting plate, I believe. I don't really have any reason to believe that's not an all-original bike, except the paint, of course. The front end is original. I've checked the cylinders. They're original to that year. Whether they're actually the original cylinders, who knows? Maybe they replaced them with the same year cylinder. I don't know if they're bored out. I know really absolutely nothing about this bike, the history of the bike. So we'll find that out when we start tearing it apart, exactly what's going on with it. My goal is initially to have that as just a rolling chassis. I just want the wheels on it. I want to take it right down to a frame to get the frame repainted. I want to sand off where the VIN is on the frame so the VIN is visible. I don't know if that frame has been repainted. It's possible that it has been, because you can make out the VIN. It's really hard to make it out on the frame, but it's there, so it matches the motor. So that's my only concern, was that, you know, it is a 76 frame that goes with that bike. When I did the panhead, there's no numbers on a panhead frame. The only way to tell if it's actually a true 65 is underneath the gas tank. There's casting marks that indicate what year that frame is. So the panhead that I had, you know, was all original except for the paint on that bike. It was repainted because whoever repainted it didn't paint it a color that was available in that year. It was kind of an off burgundy reddish type of thing. Anyway, that's what I got from Harley. A lot of their records, they told me initially, were destroyed, especially when AMF took over the company. They were destroyed. They also had 2 fires. I knew about 1 fire. I didn't know about the second one. And it's impossible to, you know, you can't even go to a Harley dealer. Harley dealers, and this is kind of the thing that pisses me off about Harley, they're not like Chevy or Ford or Dodge, where I can go to any Ford dealer, any Chevy dealer, give them the VIN, and they'll tell me everything that car has done, no matter what dealer it went to have it worked on. Harley doesn't work like that. You have to go to the actual shop, dealership, to find out anything on that bike. And I doubt they're going to have, whoever worked on it, I doubt is going to have anything from this bike. I did do a Google search on Clarksville, Indiana. I didn't find any, like I said, I didn't find any dealer in Clarksville. Whether there was one there and it closed down, maybe this got shipped to somebody's house. Again, I have no idea. There's no way to do a Carfax on it to know. Titles have previous title numbers on the current title. Maybe you can find out the title before that, and before that, where it came from. Who knows? Who knows, you know, what you're going to find out from this stuff. So that's going to do it for this video. Just an update on what I found from the factory as far as that bike goes. Probably got at least another 2 months of riding that bike. I did want to do an update on the Sportster. Couldn't find anything wrong with it. I have no idea what's going on with it. I cleaned the carburetor out, took the bowl off, cleaned the sediment out, put it back on. It wouldn't start initially, so I took the battery out, put the battery on a charger, put the battery back in, and it fired right up. So I don't really know what's going on with this. The only thing I can do is ride it and let it fail again, and I'm going to bring a meter with me and, you know, everything to try to check it out while I'm on the road, because I'm at a loss as to why it's doing that. I'm still thinking it's something to do with the petcock or the carburetor, because the motor turns over fine. The battery's charging fine. When I had it in there, I put the meter on it. It was running at 14.7 volts. I shut the bike off. It dropped down to 13.6. The charger's working. It's charging fine. There's no issue with the battery. So I'm still thinking it's probably something with the carburetor. I'm leaning more towards the petcock. Maybe the screen is clogged and it just wasn't getting any fuel, but we'll figure it out. Got a trailer to get it home if we have to, but we'll figure that out. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.